All right. You know what I wanted to do? Usually at this point, when somebody goes through the makeover through our office and that big event, a lot of people have questions. We used to actually answer questions at the makeover, but literally it took a whole another hour and a half to answer every. So really, everybody was there forever. So we decided to have a separate workshop just for questions and answers. But then I wanted to add some more onto surge training, because there's so many questions just in that part of what to do. You know, how do I do it? Can I do it? What's going on? What is a surge again? So two things I want to point out. Number one, in your book, I mean, the chapter really breaks it down pretty well for you on how to do it, you know, what it actually is structurally, how to get your target heart rate, your maximum heart rate, how to find those numbers out, so you kind of know you can stay within yourself while you do it. So I highly recommend get back to the book, read that section, number one, to get refreshed here. And then just to refresh kind of what we talked about, what is a surge training? Well, it's three sets of doing 20 seconds on, 20 seconds of rest, 20 on, 20 rest, 20 on, and then 2 minutes rest at the end. And then you do 2 more of those. So that equals 3 total complete surges. And that is, bless you, and that is literally what you do for that day. You're done with surging for that day. It's not a whole lot. It's about total time of actually working out. It's 3 minutes a day. That's why it works so well. And I know it's still hard to believe, so I'm going to go over a few things as well with you on that. The biggest thing that it does a lot, but again, we talked about how it gets your body. It starts changing your body from burning sugar into burning fat. And the way it does that, it starts your glycogen stores that you store up, basically your sugar stores in your muscles. They basically, that's what a lot of people burn, is they burn sugar. When I talk about burning sugar versus burning fat, we want to be in the fat burning zone, not sugar burning. And so if you're running a long distance marathon or something like that, if you're running, let's say 3 hours straight and you're doing a jog, it takes about a half an hour to start getting into the fat burning zone. So the first 30 minutes, you're just burning calories and burning sugar. So you're not burning actual fat, which is, again, a lot of people don't know that, so that really upsets people. It upsets me every time I talk about that, because I used to do that for a lot of times, a lot of years. So when you surge, what they've done so much research on is what that does. One of the many things, it burns all your sugar stores in your muscles, all your glycogen stores. And when that happens, your body, to make up for that, starts burning fat right away to replenish those sugar stores. So your body gets into fat burning mode very fast. It doesn't take 30 minutes, it actually happens right away. And then as soon as you get into that mode, your body stays in that fat burning mode for the next 6 to 8 hours after you do that exercise. When it comes to running like 3 hours straight, and again, when you run, let's just say you run an hour straight, you will burn fat. That's the great news. But at the same time, it'll be for just a little bit after you'll burn fat, but then that you stop burning it, right? And so with this one, you don't have to go as hard as far as time-wise, and the effects last longer. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. That's kind of, and we talked about that on the makeover. Second thing, the research that people have done. There's so much now. I may even have more stuff to share with you on this. But this form of exercise, it boosts your metabolism so much more effectively, and it reverses the aging process. It's by, and I'll get to you how it does that when it comes to increasing glutathione and stuff like that nature. But other than any other form of exercise or movement, see, to burn fat, your body needs oxygen, and what this is going to do, this is huge when it comes to aerobic. You've heard of aerobic exercise and anaerobic exercise. Aerobic means you're actually taking in a lot of oxygen. Anaerobic means you're taking in a lot of carbon dioxide, which we don't want. We want it to be supportive of the muscles, not going against our muscles. So that's why this works so well. But when you take in, when you're not taking, see, when it comes to burning sugar, you don't need oxygen to burn sugar. You just, that's why most people burn sugar. They're not taking in enough oxygen. But when you do surge training, that type of exercise, you're taking in so much oxygen. Your body needs oxygen to burn fat. It can't burn fat without an oxygen, and you're getting a lot into your cells, which is critical. So that's number one. Also, we talked about this at the makeover too. Your human growth hormone and your testosterone levels shoot up. Now, this is opposite from what most people do when it comes to running for 30 minutes or running for an hour straight. Running 3, 4, or 5 miles, or doing stair climbers for that long, or doing the elliptical machine for hours. what that does, even though there's a lot of pros to doing that, with what it does for, you know, stroke volume of the heart, what it does for burning calories and everything, and you do burn some fat, when you do that type of exercise that everybody's used to, your testosterone levels go down, and also your HGH, your human growth hormone levels, actually go down post-exercise for a while. Then they start building back up. So it has a more of a catabolic effect to the body. And this makes sense because if you look at a lot of your long-distance runners who that's all they do and all they train, they call it, it's funny, they call it skinny fat. They're pretty slender, but right around the midsection, they're still, you know, they still jiggle, they still have fat. Why? Because their body is in that type of state, and it's very catabolic. And again, you see a lot of those. You look at Lance Armstrong, nothing but cycling. What did he almost die from? Testicular cancer. Well, again, that is big when it comes to a hormone type of cancer. Again, that's what that is. And so this kind of makes sense on how he got. His body was just in a catabolic state. So those guys are very hard on themselves, and you see what that happens. So just because you run marathons, actually, there's so many people that are very sick and diseased that actually run marathons. So that's not the key to health. It's just an amazing feat, but it's not the key to actually, you know, good health. So more info on surging, because I wanted to share with you some more things that I didn't get to talk about at their makeover. So you know, I talk about it changes your hormones. How does it do it? This is the actual way it changes the hormones. So the oxygen that you put into your body, all that oxygen, and then you increase the lactic acid in your muscles. You guys know what lactic acid is? That's when you feel the burn. That's lactic acid kind of squeezing out of the muscles. And you know what? I found out more about lactic acid that I didn't know, which is pretty cool too. But the increase in lactic acid as a byproduct of doing the surge, it signals your anterior pituitary gland right under the hypothalamus in your brain, and that secretes, it signals that gland to actually increase HGH production, human growth hormone. So you secrete it, and that is, HGH is considered the anti-aging hormone because of what it does. What it does, so many things, but it is very powerful when it comes to the immune system. It helps rebuild bone density. It actually helps, if you're losing bone mass, it's going to help you actually put that back on. It helps increase bone mass, very important. Why? Because bone loss has nothing to do with calcium. It's hormone related. And again, this is going to help you produce more bone mass. Burn fat so much better and more efficiently. It stimulates better joint function by actually, it repairs the surrounding ligaments of your joints. It helps repair that better than anything else. So that's one of the big things when it comes to impact on the hormones. Secondly, it actually stimulates your immune system and it's differently than I thought actually. It boosts your natural antioxidant defense. So the one thing I did know, which is very important, it actually stimulates cofactors, coenzymes that turn into glutathione. I touched on that when it came to detox, the daily detox that we recommend in the office for boosting your glutathione levels naturally. That is basically the most powerful antioxidant in your body, is glutathione. It cleans out all the cells of your body naturally. It takes all those toxins to the colon to get rid of it. So that's what glutathione does. Well, what this does, by doing this, it actually signals these coenzymes that turn into glutathione. So you make more of these cofactors that in turn create a better glutathione response. So it actually stimulates your body as far as more glutathione in it, which actually does so much for your immune system as far as increasing it, getting rid of toxins, attacking viruses, bacteria. Basically a huge immune booster this surge training is going to do for you. Now in addition, this is what I didn't know, because again, the lactic acid thing, you feel the burn, you're going, everybody hates lactic acid because you burn, nobody likes to burn when you work out. But get this, and this is actually fairly new research. New research is out showing that lactic acid, not just showing you that that's you're squeezing a bunch of junk out of the muscles, but what lactic acid is now, they're finding out, it's a free radical scavenger, meaning it actually destroys free radical. It acts just like an antioxidant, and this is actually very, very new research. So basically, you have the combination of upping your glutathione and then increasing lactic acid, which will destroy cancer-causing agents, make surging a huge anti-aging and antioxidant effect on the body, which I thought was just pretty darn cool. And also the CDC, this is some more research for this, in 1995, so again, this isn't just in the last 2 years, this is from 1995, the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in this country, and the American College of Sports Medicine, they concluded that doing intermittent short surges of accumulated exercise increases the body's anaerobic capacity by 28% and increases your oxygen intakes, kind of just exactly what I'm talking about. So the CDC is even confirming this, which I'm not so huge in the CDC, but it was pretty neat to see. And this was 10 years, almost 20 or 15 years ago, that they're noticing that, hey, this thing really works. It's just the right way to do it. So here's the other thing too. I wanted to touch on this too before I get into examples. The nervous system, because I gotta link this thing back, because this is great to do. But again, if your body isn't healing from the inside out, if your body isn't working functionally, a lot of times when you exercise, you don't see the effects. Does that make sense? Who's exercised and was not happy? I mean, this is me growing up a lot. So what happens in the opposite, and this is what it blows me away. I was talking to a really good friend of mine who practices in Shreveport, and we were just talking because he had a makeover as well, because he also does the same type of correction that I do. He's a Max Limit doctor as well. And we just got to talking on how before we even did makeovers, before we even did nutrition, really, before we even did surge training, people lost weight actually quite a bit, and it still happens in the office. When I'm not even talking about nutrition or exercise, why? Why did that happen? It's because the body started working better. And here's that connection. So when it comes to what happens in your body, well, remember, weight loss, fat burning is all about the hormones. Okay, that's the key. It's not about calories. It's all about your hormone production. Well, the big things that you're talking about, hormones, your thyroid gland, huge when it comes to weight, when it comes to hair, skin, and nails. You have your adrenal glands, which is in your lower spine. These nerves, your adrenal glands actually produce, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, all huge when it comes to fat burning, but a whole bunch of other functions. But again, those are your main hormones for that. Down here towards the sacral area, you have the nerves that go to the reproductive organs. That's big when it comes to hormone like estrogen, testosterone with men and women. And so you have so many different things that are made in different areas of the body. Well, guess what? What do most people are hard on? You're hard on the spines. You subluxate the vertebra. And guess where we find a lot of damage with a lot of people? Right here in the lower part of the lumbar spine, right here at the very, the hips, the sacrum, and then in the neck. So you put that together, what does that equal? That equals nerves not getting to organs properly. No signals are not near as good as it should. And so you have organs that do what? They stop producing normally. And when you start having your thyroid gland not function right, your adrenal glands not function right, and you guys know there's a connection between adrenals and thyroid. Actually, if your adrenals, most people burn these out first, and then after a while, it starts affecting the way your thyroid works. And a lot of people go and run and have this tested, and the levels seem normal, but the thyroid's in a state of shock, and that's all because the adrenal glands are burnt out. So we see this. So basically, you have these organs that aren't working properly, and you add years of time, which again, that's the problem. What starts happening to you as a person? It doesn't matter what you exercise. It doesn't matter how good you eat. We still hold on to fat. We still don't burn fat, and we're miserable. We still gain weight. So that's the nervous system connection. So that's why in the office we start clearing these nerves, start getting that power going from the brain to these organs. This actually happens quite naturally. I have a lot of people that end up losing weight because why? Well, you start having these organs start working better. What happens? They start burning fat better. You start producing, estrogen better. You start producing progesterone. You start producing testosterone. And when you have, the right production of these hormones, your body knows exactly what to do with it. It's when these hormones are way, way off and skewed or imbalanced, that's when we start adding weight to our bodies. So that's happened a lot. And it was just funny. I mentioned this. I was talking to him, and we were just kind of like, before we did this still happened. Well, it's not that exercise is not important. It really is. But that's why we clear the nerves first. Then we add in, the surging. That's why we add in, how to change your hormones by eating better. Then it even multiplies on what we have originally done. So that's why I want to kind of throw that link on the nervous system on how, and this is why we get the nerves cleared first. So why when you exercise, when you do this, I want it to do the best effects for you by getting your nerves cleared and then doing the surging, then doing our nutrition plans. That's why we hold off a little bit with you guys before we get into nutrition recommendations, because we got to get your body to function first or better first for a while, get you used to that, because a lot of things change. You guys, a lot of people smile. A lot of things change when you first start care. You detox quite a bit, and you naturally do that because your body is getting used to pressure off the nerves, and it's a powerful thing. So we have you do that, then add in the nutrition, add in the surging and stuff like that.